Welcome to Dynamite Live, the show before Beach Break, their themed show. Now, I've always said I've never been fond of themed shows, but that's only if they do it all the time. Like WWE always done some, Impact did the same thing every single time they did a themed show, constantly. But since this is one of the few they're going to probably do for the entire year, I'm okay with it. And I'm very curious to see where they're going to go. Unfortunately, at the opening, when it came to Kingston versus Archer, I did not get a chance to see it. I don't even know what happened. The only thing I know is when the stream was working, the stream was fine and then it just faded out and it was flickering. I don't know if that was the person who was streaming or if it was TNT themselves and AEW. I don't know who. Only thing I know is that the stream was not working, and by the time I did see anything, you basically had Lance Archer getting his ass kicked by Butcher the Blade and Kingston. So I don't know who won. So you guys can tell me below who do you believe won or who actually did win. The question is, where did it go from here? I don't know where they're going to go with this, because this is not leading anywhere. Look, if Lance Archer was the TNT champion and Kingston goes up against him, he would have a legitimate gripe, saying, look, I was never eliminated from that battle royal. Last year, I want a shot at the title. That makes the most sense. Now, I know I could say, why don't you say Kingston deserves to go after the world title? No. I want to see him go after the TNT title, then go after the world title. I want him to establish himself in the mid-card with a title, which will bring in more people. I know Kingston is one of the most greatest talents there is, but he's one of the greatest talkers there is and a good wrestler. And I want his character to get over even more than just his ring work. And he is a character. So I believe the TNT title is best for him at first, and then the world title if they believe he's ready for it. That's just me, guys. Tell me below. The Varsity Blondes versus MJF and Y2J. Now, most of this match was done in picture-in-picture, so I watched some of it. But I don't always watch picture-in-picture because it does get a little annoying. I'd rather see it just for what it is. But it's understandable. They got to try and do it that way. I did see a majority of the picture-in-picture. And Sammy Guevara got pretty pissed off because of what happened with Wardlow. Now, of course, you got the Brian Pillman Jr. taking the pin with the Judas effect to the face. He had to take it. And in actuality, it's a good thing to see that he's taking these types of things. He's going to eventually get over. Now, I know not everybody's going to notice about Brian Pillman Jr. I mean, his dad was a great wrestler. He was a great character. He died too soon. And being what he is right now, going from Major League Wrestling took him. I believe Akara took him. And a couple other places. I could be wrong about Akara Wrestling. But he has made his name for himself, particularly in Major League Wrestling when it came to the Hart Foundation. I truly believe that he has a great, great gift. The guy is talented. Does he have character? I think he needs more work on it because he wasn't that great in MJW. Sorry for the noise, guys. But when it comes down to it, I do believe one day he's going to be ready and be for the main event. But right now, he's a jobber. He's getting his butt kicked more than anybody. They want to make sure he gets done correctly. Sometimes you got to get your butt kicked to really get up in the business, to earn your dues, not just by your name. Now, we had the Cody interview. Now, this is a hard one because it's not that I don't think it'll work with Red Velvet. But since Brandy is pregnant and she cannot participate in wrestling at all, it makes sense. And here's the thing. I love me some Brandy. But the problem was that Brandy really never had a great character. And when it came to going in the ring, she was always questionable. She was never one of the greatest workers. If she had a good story and it was built properly, yes, she can get over, but she hasn't been over much. And she hasn't been doing very well in the ring either. She was a little more physical in a couple of matches I've seen her, But really, there wasn't a lot with her. So seeing this makes perfect sense. Yeah, they did show Shaq ahead of time before the interview saying, hey, you kid, you punk, you want to try something with me? You want to try something, play? All right. I'll show up. I will show up. Whenever you're ready. Of course, I believe it was at Beach Break, or it's going to be Revolution. I don't remember which one. I think it's Beach Break. But this is what it was all based off of. The next time well, I think I'm botching here is because of how it was Art Anderson having to sell this instead of Cody. And not saying Art Anderson is bad on the mic. He's not. But it feels like they really don't have a lot to go with when it comes to Shaq. And they try to use it with Art to try and get it over, saying pretty much, you and this individual have a fire. And I want to bring her out in this red velvet. And I'm not against red velvet. I like her. But to put her in a position like this, I don't know. I do not know if she's ready for this. She's still very young in the business. And now she's going to have a spot with Shaq, with Cody. And it's not about Jade Carvel. It's not about her. It doesn't matter. She's been in the business 20 years and still looks amazing. With that thickness of her. She's just like, boom. With this, that will do this to you if you get on her nerves. That is how she's built. She's built like a brick chicken house that you love. But then if you piss her off, she will break your back. I've said it before and I'll say it again. She will break your freaking back. But seeing her in this position because Brandy can't wrestle because she's pregnant is dubious at best. I don't know if this is going to work well. I just don't. I'm hoping it will, but this is just me. Now, for the women, we got Shanna. She lives in France. She's originally from Portugal. And now she's living in America, and she goes up against Britt Baker, who's not acting like a dentist anymore. She's acting more like I am the be-all, end-all of the women's roster. Which I don't agree with. I'm sorry, guys. If you love Look, I don't hate Britt Baker as a person. She's probably the most sweetest person you can meet. But when it comes to her character, I'm bored. I don't like it. She was better as a real dentist, which she is. I'd rather see her act like a damn dentist than act like she is the be-all, end-all of the women's wrestling division. Because it's not working. There's no division for her to be all and all. And even though the match was good and you could see the difference between Shannon, who's worked 13 years, and Britt Baker, who's worked maybe 5 or 6, there was a stark difference in style. And I'm not saying Britt is 100% bad in the ring, but you could see Shannon was here, Britt was here, and Shannon had to go a little bit lower to make it look good for Britt. And even with Reba helping out, you could see the difference. And I just don't buy that Shannon had to lose to Britt. She lost on purpose. You could see it, it just felt like it. And in the end, the lockjaw was put in. But here's the thing. This isn't about even Shannon. This is about Thunder Rosa and her coming out right when Shannon's getting a lockjaw again because you saw how the curb stomp was messed up. Britt was supposed to grab Shannon by the back of her arms, hold her, and then put her foot behind her back and just shove her into the mat. And the first time she botched it, and the second time she did it properly, but then it looks like she got pissed off, she did it wrong, and then she locked in the lockjaw very quickly instead of letting it really soak into the crowd. That's just showing you the inexperience of Britt Baker, to me personally. If she was still a dentist and make-believing she's going to start pulling people's teeth out, I truly believe she would be a better character. Then she could work on her style, which I really do believe Adam Cole should help her with. That's just me. You guys tell me below. This is where the stream dropped its audio. Now, I believe it was the stream itself, and I don't believe it was AEW. But if it was AEW, that was bad. I saw the Sting in Darby Allin, but I don't know what was stated because the sound just stopped. No sound. So I don't know what the promo was, and I don't read lips. So I do know this was about to set up for the Street Fighter Revolution. No problem. But without being able to hear anything and only seeing that Sting's whacking one of the windows and shattering it along with a Darby Allin, I don't know what they said to lead up into it. So I'm lost in the context. But my guess is they wanted to prove they were tough, I guess. And I just wish I could have heard the promo to understand what was being really stated. Now, Team Taz had their moments, basically going after the merch table and wiping out the guys there to prove a point that they're tougher than them. That they're thugger. They're more thugs, I guess. I will give it okay, but because I didn't hear what Sting and Darby Allin said, if Darby Allin said anything, because he did approach the camera, I just can't say it was good or great that both sides did their job well. I just don't know. Now, we had, Dax Hardwood versus Jungle Boy. And you got pretty much Wheeler and Telly basically handcuffed to Luchasaurus. And pretty much Marco Stunt was not there. I think this was the best match of the night for me personally. It was. It was the best match of the night. I did enjoy it quite well. Both these guys worked very well together. Seeing the stark contrast of a more old school high impact guy versus a high flyer, high agile guy. It was pretty good. In the end, Jungle Boy won. But then they got their butts kicked. I'm not surprised. I'm not. And then you see him in my face. They handcuffed Luchasaurus with those handcuffs he was already attached to. Then they cut off his horns. Excuse me. You don't touch the dinosaur like that. The dinosaur horns are a symbol of prowess, of manhood, of him being a damn dinosaur, and they cut them off. No. You don't do that. That's an insult. That means war. And Luchasaurus is money. So be ready. Luchasaurus is going to be mad. He's going to whoop some butt. It's coming. It's coming. Now, Adam Page versus Narat? Or Nerf? Well, pretty much a jobber. And Matt Hardy was at ringside. The Dark Order couldn't get a Adam Page. Maybe Matt could. Now, I gotta admit, this match was way too competitive. I'm sorry. I was not feeling it. Why did the Hangman had to struggle here? I don't agree with that. He didn't need to have to struggle a lot. I mean, he had to struggle a little bit, but it was way too competitive. In the end, he used the buckshot lariat, ended it. But then, Matt went to the back. He didn't interfere. He just clapped. But then, when Tony Schiavone came out, and he asked Matt to come back, he wondered what you were doing there. Matt said, look, I'm not here to mess with you. I'm not here to enlist you. I'm just here to say I'm here for you. I believe in you. Look, you had it bad for a while. The Bucks and Kenny, you loved them, but in the end, they dragged you down. And now, what are you doing? You have no dressing room. You don't dress with everybody else. You're literally changing your clothes in the hallway next to catering. Ergo, WWE. I got a big dressing room. You can get dressed in mine anytime you want. It's open. And then he walks away. I really want Sammy Guevara to be a part of Money Matt's stable because it makes more sense for him to be like that. But seeing how Adam Hangman Page has not joined Dark Order, he's still on his own, still struggling, is compelling. I'm not going to lie. It is kind of compelling to see that he may work with Money Matt. But then you see Sammy Guevara. And after what happened with him and MJF, and he's saying, I know what you're up to. I know you're tricking everybody. You ain't tricking me. And MJF says, you really want to go down this road with me? Okay? It makes me still think that Money Matt is going to get Sammy Guevara. But now him going after Adam Page, it kind of makes me think what happened with Taz and Darby Allin. Darby Allin he didn't want to be with Taz. Taz got mad. He got himself a staple, and he's been going after Darby ever since. I'm wondering if they're going to do that with a Hangman Page when it comes to Sammy. Because I know Sammy Guevara, if he does join Money Matt, he will be dealing with MJF eventually. But then he also could be going after Hangman Page. I don't know. You guys can tell me below. And finally, we got the 8-man tag. I already saw an 8-man tag on Impact Wrestling. I did not want to see an 8-man tag here. Look, seeing the Bullet Club together was good. Yes. Was the match crap? No. The Dark Order was done well. Evil Uno and Silver were the best parts of Dark Order for me personally. Evil Uno is untapped potential. The guy easily should be leader of Dark Order, and he is, and it makes sense. When it comes to Silver, he's a breakout star. Yes, he's a little sawed-off runt like Wolverine. But he has character. He's in my face. I believe I got the shot. He has character. It's not about how well he can run around in the ring. It's not about that he's so damn dense that it's hard to knock the guy down, because a guy who's that size usually is very dense, very compact. And they're solid. I got into a fight once as a kid with someone that dense and solid. I got my ass kicked. And I didn't even start the fight. He started with me and he kicked my butt. But when it comes down to it, you can see these two are wonderful in Dark Order. Everyone else will get their moments, even Anna Jade. But it is about Evil Uno and Silver. They look that good, but that wasn't even about them. This was about setting up for Beach Break when it comes to the Bullet Club dealing with what's going to happen with Moxley, with, well, Ray's by himself because Penta's not there, and you got Pac, who wasn't there. He did do a nice promo, but in the end, this is to set that up. And for me, here's the problem, guys. And I kind of want to make this under 20 minutes if I can. Look, I am not happy at this moment. I am still very interested in seeing how Impact is going to improve in the next months into the year. But they need more influence on AEW other than the Good Brothers. If there's no one that's going to go there, this, even though will give Impact something, is not enough. Look, when the Good Brothers were announced, they weren't even announced as the Impact Tag Team Champions. They weren't even given that. They were given the Good Brothers. Now, of course, you can say, well, they don't want to do that because they're invading their turf. And even though the commentators announced, well, you got the Good Brothers who are the Impact champs going with the AEW Tag Champs. Yes, I do understand that. But Impact needs more of an influence. And I'm still hoping there's going to be someone that's going to show up other than the Good Brothers. If there's nobody, this really is going to piss off fans. I'm going to tell you this right now. There are AEW fans that are also Impact fans. And if they don't see some more Impact people there, AEW is going to get flack for this. Because either it's going to be the people who run TNT that's forcing them not to allow more than 2 people, or it's Tony Khan who made the decision only to have a certain amount of people there. Now, it could be the TNT executives that ordered them not to have more than 2 people. That's a possibility. But still, we need more for Impact Wrestling. If they're going to bring in more people like Matt Cardona, the Bucks, they're going to be bringing in basically Private Party and Matt. They got to bring in back Kenny Omega to deal with a Rick Swann who really needs to be seen on AEW. But this is just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.